Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your October 2018 general readings. Thank you for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers, and thank you as always for all your likes, shares, subscribes, and those of you who continue to follow my YouTube channel. Regardless of where I'm at, I do like to travel quite a bit, as those of you who follow me know. I am currently still in Eastern Europe, but I am recording and posting these at the very end of September, and at the beginning of October I will be back home in California, so I look forward to seeing you all there for the mid-month readings. So welcome, and thank you for those of you who continue to follow me, and for all of my clients, regular and new, for keeping me so busy with reaching out for personal readings wherever I'm at. It's always an honor and a pleasure. Thank you. If any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to work with you. Turnaround time is pretty quick. I do readings full time, 5 to 6 days a week. And I can usually get back to you within the first 24 hours of your initial contact. You can get the information and all my contact details by either clicking on the description bar of all the videos I post, or you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the little About button there. I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, so if you're interested, send me an email and we'll go from there. All right, moving right along, this reading is for the Earth sign of Capricorn for the month of October 2018. For additional insight and clarification, if you know your rising and moon sign, watch those videos as well. General readings can always resonate a little differently for everybody who watches them. All right, Capricorn, let's see what's in store for you for October 2018. We begin with the Seven of Wands, followed by the Three of Cups. Next we have the Six of Wands, followed by the Star. We have the Three of Wands, followed by the Seven of Cups. And we have the Four of Swords, followed by the Knight of Swords. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance for the month is the Two of Pentacles. So Capricorn, it looks like you may be maybe juggling a lot of different things at once. Your overall energy is the Two of Pentacles. It can represent being very busy, maybe being involved in quite a lot of things. For some of you, it can represent trying to choose between two different options, or kind of going back and forth, or juggling between two different things, or trying to make a choice about something. Excuse me. I'm just at the tail end of a cold. I feel pretty good, but I've got some residual hoarseness, so forgive me if I sound like a frog. So maybe contemplating two different things, or going back between two different things. It looks like some of you, let me just take a quick look here. It looks like some of you may be involved in some conflict with some friends, about some friends, or perhaps within your community. It could be social networking or community as well. Because we end September, begin October, time being always fluid, of course, with the Seven of Wands and the Three of Cups. So the Seven of Wands is primarily a defensive card. It's a card about protecting, guarding, or defending something that you feel strongly about, or something that you have a lot invested in. You can see that this man is standing at the door of his home, his castle, his keep, or whatever it is that he feels very strongly about, because of how much he has invested in it, because he feels it's being threatened or challenged in some way. It can represent standing up for yourself or for someone else. It can represent standing up for a way of life, or a belief system, or an ideology or religious path that you believe strongly in, that you feel is being challenged in some way. Sometimes it can represent being defensive, in a negative way. It's sometimes a good thing to have our beliefs or our ideas challenged, because it can help in defending them. It can help us, clarify what they are for ourselves. But always in being challenged, it's a good idea to listen to, what's being said, as long as it's not, harmful. because perhaps it might be time for us to let go of or modify what we believe in, or a way we have of doing something in order to consider something new. But it's a card about defending something you feel strongly about, regardless of what that something is. Now, what clarifies it is the Three of Cups, which is a card of good friends. It's a high social energy too. It speaks of going out, having a good time, particularly with people that you feel good about. It can represent really good friends and family, that kindred spirit, sisterhood, brotherhood energy, or your community, what you view as your community, close relationships within your community. So for some of you, the combination of this defensive energy, that has some connection here. Some of you may have a highly active social life. You may like to go out and party quite a bit. You may be having that, you may be talked to or being lectured or challenged about that by friends or family, or, some other connections that you have in your life. That might be the case for some of you. I don't feel like it's the case for very many of you. Others of you, I feel like this defensive energy, I feel like there's a couple different stories going on here. Some of you may be in the position of defending yourself, and even though there's not really any cards here that are indicating strongly like a love connection, I feel like your friends or social circle may be challenging you somehow, or you may be in a position to defend a love relationship you have, or your choice of partner. For some of you, you may be defending a friend or a circle of friends, or your choice in friendships. Others of you, you may be in a position where you're defending a way of life, like a particular lifestyle you live, particularly any of you who may be living an alternative lifestyle. You may be in a position to have to defend that. And it could be for some of you that you have a group of friends around you, or a network group around you, or your community that's helping you defend yourself in another situation. So it just depends on which one of those stories is resonating with you, because I'm getting a variety of them. And it's a general reading, so it's going to resonate a little differently for everybody watching. Now, next to that, we have a great combination of cards. We have the Six of Wands and the Star. So the Six of Wands is a card that represents victory and triumph after a struggle or after a challenge. And it's significant victory and triumph. This man went off to accomplish something, struggle with something. So it's not a minor victory, it's a major victory. And he's riding back into town triumphant, and he's also being recognized for it. It can represent public recognition as well. It can represent a raise, a promotion, being recognized in the public eye in some way as well. And it's clarified by the Star, which is a card of hope, faith, but it's a card of renewed hope and faith. I usually see this card show up after a period of darkness or challenge or struggle of some kind. It's like a winter into spring, darkness into light, sickness into health card. It comes up when somebody's been going through something very difficult or challenging or painful, and something occurs which gives them this renewed sense of hope, faith, and optimism, and kind of rededicates them to the path that they're on, and gives them an increased faith that the path that they're on is in fact the right one, even if they can't see how it plays out. Devoting themselves, as this woman is emptying herself, devoting herself to her path in perfect faith and confidence that when she needs her pitchers refilled, they will, because the source itself, God, Spirit, your angels, and guides, is limitless. So it looks like I think for some of you, there's obviously been some kind of struggle or challenge somehow, in some way, in some area of your life. For some of you it might be job, work, career. For some of you it might be socially. For some of you it might be in the romantic relationship in your area of your life, or something that maybe bleeds into all those areas. I feel like you were put in a position to have to defend yourself, defend somebody else, defend your choices, defend what you do or how you live your life. Some of you may have been in the difficult and challenging position of having to defend yourself to your friends. Some of you have had to defend yourself about your friends or your choices in the social or romantic area of your life. But some of you have been in a position of having to defend yourself, and your friends or your social network, your community, has pulled around you to help you in that. And you have achieved a sense of victory, and that victory and coming out on top, and maybe even being publicly recognized in some way, has given you an increased sense of a renewed sense of hope, faith, and optimism, because the star is the light that guides the way, that shines in the darkness. Now, next to that, we have the Three of Wands, with the Seven of Cups. So the Three of Wands is beginning to see the manifestations of small goals on the way to accomplishing something bigger. For example, in the preceding card in the tarot, the Two of Wands, it shows a man at a crossroads and he's trying to choose between two paths. And the advice with the Two of Wands is it's about choosing a path based on where you want to go, long-term thinking and planning. So here in the Three of Wands, the Three of Wands represents that you've put some effort into it, you've laid some work, some foundation, and you're starting to see the beginnings of things manifest in a positive way. Just being at kind of the beginning of the path and seeing things begin to kind of come together. Now, it's clarified by the Seven of Cups, which is a card of multiple options or opportunities, considering multiple options or opportunities. But they're not all possible, so you have to be careful with this card. The accompanying advice is to be realistic and grounded and practical as well, because there's a dreamy, illusionary energy about the Seven of Cups. It can represent fantasy, illusion, daydreaming, being distracted, lovely energy, but it's a card that cautions you also to be realistic and practical about what is possible and what is beginning to be manifested. But for some of you, it could just be that maybe around the third week or so, you're beginning to see something manifest. You're beginning to see things come together in a way that makes you feel very positive, particularly after this victory, this win, this triumph. And you just may be daydreaming and fantasizing about how things are going to continue to play out and manifest. Just make sure if you still need to make any decisions or take action about anything, pay attention to all the details, all the fine print, so to speak, and make sure that any decisions you make are based on having done all of your homework and your research, so that you can be as practical as possible in manifesting anything that you're hoping towards. Because remember, your overall energy was maybe juggling, going back and forth between something or trying to make a choice. Now, at or towards the end of October 2018, we have the Four of Swords and the Knight of Swords. So air energy here. The Four of Swords is a card of rest, respite, restoration. I usually see this card show up when someone's feeling maybe kind of tired after a challenge or a battle of some kind, which is what this man is doing. He's a soldier dressed for battle. He's taken his helmet off and his gauntlets off so that he can rest, but he's still girded for battle, which implies that he's taking a break or a step back, a reprieve. These swords which are pointed down at him represent the battle itself or the challenge or whatever it is that he's been fighting against or fighting for. And he's taking a step back. They're still pointed down at him, and his own sword is lying close by his hand should he need it, implying that it's still out there waiting. But for the time being, he's not engaged. He's taking a step back to rest, to recover, to restore himself, to perhaps get some insight, feedback. But it's about taking better care of yourself because you're taking a break from. I mean, it looks like you've been through quite a bit. It was quite a challenge, struggle, whatever it is, and it's taking a time out, taking a little vacation, maybe going on retreat. Or if you haven't done that, it speaks of it's a time where you maybe at or towards the end of October 2018, Capricorn, maybe needing to take some time out and take better care of yourself to kind of rest and restore. Just take a step back from whatever it is that you've been so heavily engaged in. Excuse me. Now, clarifying that is the Knight of Swords. Knights usually represent offers or opportunities coming in because knights are the bringers, the deliverers of the tarot. They also represent the speed at which situations move. All four of the knights representing fairly quick moving situations, because knights are known for being spontaneous and impulsive. So this is the Knight of Swords, which is air energy, which is mental, cerebral energy. So what's being brought to you could be news, information, a truth, enlightenment of some kind. For some of you, it's what comes to you after you've maybe at the end of the month taking a step back, maybe resting, in order to contemplate some news or information that's incoming. It could be from an air sign person, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And it could be that at or towards the end of October 2018, some news or information comes in that you need to take some time out or take a step back to contemplate it. It might make you feel, it might expose or enlighten something that makes you feel maybe kind of tired or a bit, tired or exhausted in some way, and you need to take some time off to, again, consider it. Regardless of how you look at it, it looks like at or towards the end of October 2018, a timeout is necessary or being asked for here to consider some news or information that's coming in. And I feel like it's about maybe seeing the small manifestations of something beginning to manifest. You may not be seeing everything completely realistically about what you're hoping to build or hoping to manifest, but I believe by at the end of October, beginning of November, that's going to become clarified because of news or information that's coming in. So Capricorn, that pretty much wraps up your October 2018 reading. I hope that you found it helpful. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, please feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you. Turnaround time is pretty fast as I do readings full-time. I do love and romance, of course, compatibility charting, and reconciliation spreads to see if that's possible. I do career work and investment readings as career work and finance reading, as well as investment readings. I also do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life in all the main areas over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. A lot of people find those useful. I do channeled messages from passed on loved ones as well, as long as there was a strong emotional connection. And we're also entering the holiday season, and I always get a lot of requests and orders for gift readings, which I always do. I do them at any time of the year, gift readings, birthday readings, or just gifting readings. But during the last quarter of the year, of course, during the holiday season, I get a big rush for those as gifts for friends or family members. So something you may want to keep in mind. All of this information you can see in my contact details by either clicking on the description bar of the videos I post or going to my YouTube channel's homepage and clicking on the little About button. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That link's also provided. So Capricorn, I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the October 2018 mid-month readings. I'll be back home in California by then. I look forward to seeing you there. And as always, until then, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care. Bye-bye.